After arriving at Arsenal in summer 2019, becoming sporting director in 2022, Arsenal have received the shocking news today that Edu Gaspar is set to leave. With an integral part of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal gone, today we'll break down what exactly happened behind the scenes, what is the truth behind his departure, as well as getting a breaking update on Martin Odegaard's fitness, discussing a new report regarding a wide target. We'll also get all the breaking news ahead of the massive game against Inter Milan. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Baz14. Welcome back to your boys channel, and today we have some real breaking news that came out of nowhere like an RKO. So as per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new, helping your boy on his road to 300,000 subscribers. Now starting off with the Edu Gaspar breaking news. Following an eventful week and a defeat against Newcastle, come around Monday, all Arsenal fans wanted was a bit of normality. A relaxing, calm Monday to get our weeks back on track. But then came the shocking news from Sami Mokbel. In news that will arrive as a blow to head coach Mikel Arteta. The sporting director has played a pivotal role in the club's resurgence. One of Arsenal's key figures behind the scenes, the sporting director was set to leave. Not at the end of this year or the end of the season, immediate and effectively, with Arsenal confirming it in a club statement. Edu says this was an incredibly hard decision to make. I love working with so many great colleagues across our men's, women's and academy teams, especially Mikel, who has become a great friend. Now it is time to pursue a different challenge. Arsenal will always remain in my heart. I wish the club the best and the supporters only good things, and all the very best. It really was a surprise because no one saw this news coming. The same guy that back in May was saying things like this: I want to stay here, maybe even retire at Arsenal. There is no way I could think otherwise. As a director, I've won all titles I won as a player. The only thing missing is the Premier League. But just like that, he has left Arsenal and left a massive gap. In terms of the owner, Josh Kroenke, here's what he said. We respect Edu's decision and thank him for his immense contribution and dedication to drive the club forward. Everyone at the club wishes him well. We are also fond of him and the positive energy he brings to everything and everyone. The question that a lot of Arsenal fans are asking though is why exactly has he left? Why the dramatic change? Well, according to Graham Bailey, TBR Football understands there have been some issues between Arsenal's hierarchy and Edu, which saw his position becoming increasingly uncomfortable. Sources have confirmed that Edu decided to leave his role at the club, a decision that was not taken lightly. Issues behind the scenes, problems with Mikel Arteta, there's been a lot of reports and rumours. But the truth itself seems to be very different. As confirmed by David Ornstein, the former Arsenal director has agreed to join a group controlled by the Nottingham Forest owner, Evangelos Marounikis. It's not signed and the role still needs to be financed, but he's leaving Arsenal for a new post, including responsibilities for growing the operations. The key part to understand is the Nottingham Forest owner owns quite a few clubs, a group that runs the likes of Marseille, Olympiacos and many more alongside Forest. Going from a sporting director at Arsenal, he's becoming almost a CEO. And more importantly, he's also going to get significantly more money. As confirmed by Michael Delaney, Edu harbored ambitions of being a CEO at Arsenal, a position the Marounikis group is willing to meet, as well as triple his current salary. Edu has been in talks with the group and could now lead the recruitment. If ever in life you're offered triple your wages no matter how much you love the current workplace, unless they're willing to match the offer, the most likely scenario is you're going to leave. There is no reports of any major issues behind the scenes or disagreement with the Arsenal board. Edu has always come across as a very happy figure behind the scenes. Seeing any video of him alongside the new Arsenal signings and how he welcomes them, he always seemed to enjoy his role at Arsenal. But to anyone thinking there's a deeper meaning behind this, a rift behind the scenes that has caused him to leave, treble the wages in a higher role makes a lot more sense. But for Arsenal, it is still going to be a significant blow. Not only has Edu been a key part alongside Mikel Arteta and rejuvenating Arsenal, as the Mill report, Edu is widely regarded as one of the top sporting directors in the game, and has been responsible for securing key signings such as Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice, having been named the best director in European football at the Golden Boy 2023 Awards. Despite initial criticism over the past year, Edu has got a lot of flowers, taking Arsenal from top 4 contenders to title contenders. We can't sit here though and say his role has been entirely perfect. Despite coming from Brazil and former director of the national team, how often did we actually see those Brazilian links get used? Apart from the signings of Marquinhos and Pablo Mari, the only standout signing we're talking about is Gabriel Martinelli. Despite having those connections there, Arsenal's lack of use of the Brazilian market full of so many top players, the likes of Guimarães slipping through our hands and so many more. As much as Edu was appreciated, there was still a lot of doubters when it came to Arsenal and the timing of deals, how long it would often take to get them over the line. Even this summer, Ricardo Calafiori and Mikel Merino taking so long. Yes, I get negotiations aren't simple, but it was the amount of times that Arsenal got close to a player before letting him slip. We're talking key targets: Rafinha, Šeško, Kudus, Caicedo, Mudryk, Vlahovic, Locatelli. In the reign of Edu Gaspar, Arsenal have made some really amazing signings. When you look at some of the players that Arsenal missed out on, then look at the holes we have in the current side. Quite often it felt like Arsenal were a bit too slow on that transfer market. Here's the players that Arsenal have signed over Edu's career, spending a whopping €778 million. From key signings like Declan Rice and Kai Havertz, Ben White and Gabriel Jesus. The captain, of course, Martin Odegaard, and recent rivals of Yuri Timber, Merino and Calafiori. But you've also got the players like Nuno Tavares, Pablo Mari, Marquinhos, Ronaldson Trusty, the likes of Willian, and of course recently Raheem Sterling. It has been very hit and miss, but that is a reoccurring theme across all top clubs in Europe. You're never going to have every signing be an instant hit. But throw back to summer 2024, with Mikel Arteta clearly pushing for the target of Nico Williams, wages being available and Arsenal able to get the deal over the line. We talked about Arsenal needing that wide forward depth, but right towards the end of the window we left it so late that the only player that we could have signed was Raheem Sterling, a last minute opportunity and one that a lot of Arsenal fans weren't happy with. The point we're trying to make here is that Edu Gaspar was very good at what he did, but by no means was he perfect. As Sam T reports now, Edu has opportunities elsewhere and Arsenal sources describe it as a big loss, but they vow to carry on working. There's two people that Arsenal fans are now looking towards: Mikel Arteta and Josh Kroenke. In terms of the owner, as he says, change and evolution is a part of our club. We remain focused on our strategy and winning major trophies. Our succession plan will reflect this continued ambition. Who are Arsenal going to turn to next? Who will be the sporting director? And how big a role is Mikel Arteta going to play? With all the pressure building after recent results going against us, some Arsenal fans even conceding the title race, Mikel's influence still remains massive behind the scenes. And as reported by The Telegraph, Arteta will have a major say on how Arsenal replace Edu, as all major decisions at the club are taken by the football leadership team of Arteta, Richard Garlick and Tim Lewis. As great as Mikel Arteta's talent ID has been, at the same time we can't look for more yes men. As important as Mikel Arteta says is going to be, we'll need to find someone that at times can actually challenge him. Because as great as Mikel Arteta is tactically, in the past having given managers too much control, we've seen it hurt Arsenal massively. You look back to the final days of Arsene Wenger where there was no more David Dein. Wenger's talent ID was still fantastic, but with too much control, it hurt Arsenal on the short and longer term. You look at the likes of Liverpool and how they had it with Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp, a team that went on to win the Champions League and Premier League, amassed 90 plus points many a time. Edwards was in charge of the recruitment and he defined Klopp the profiles, then trust his ability to coach his players into the right environment. But when Edward left and Klopp became in charge of transfers, we've seen them make a lot more mistakes with the likes of Darwin Núñez as a prime example. These next few weeks are going to be very interesting for Arsenal Football Club. How can they replace such a key figure like Edu Gaspar? Who are they going to be targeting? Talk to me as ever down below in the comments, my Arsenal fans. What do you think of Edu Gaspar's departure? And how do you think this impacts Arsenal going into the future? Moving on to Arsenal's big return. In what has been a very tough few weeks for Arsenal fans, the title race getting further and further away. Now you've got our sporting director leaving out of nowhere. It's about time that we got some positive news regarding Martin Odegaard. As reported by Kaya Kaina, Martin Odegaard is nearing a return to action, as the Arsenal captain was pushing hard to be available Saturday trip against Newcastle. That wasn't quite meant to be, but it seems like a return on Wednesday or next week is very likely, with even Mikel Arteta confirming. Odegaard has been in the grass for a few weeks, but there's still a few boxes to tick. Hopefully he will be back before the international break. And with only 2 games before that, Inter Milan away and Chelsea away, that Chelsea game particularly could be defining for our entire season. Currently 7 points off top place Liverpool, there is no more room for any defeats. And with Martin Odegaard in the side, Arsenal have a whopping 73% win rate. Without him, it drops down to 50, with 5 wins in 10 games, 3 losses, averaging less goals per game, and also conceding more. We survived without him against Spurs away and Man City away. But in the recent games against the aggressive mid-box like Newcastle, a look at Arsenal's passes in the second half show a clear issue. No central progression whatsoever. No one comfortable enough to pick the balls between the lines and hurt teams where they're most vulnerable. But in terms of Arsenal and their attack, let's focus on the left-hand side. After a very poor performance of Leandro Trossard and likewise Gabriel Martinelli, according to the Mirror, Arsenal are lining up for West Ham's Mohamed Kudus as a £90 million replacement for Leandro Trossard, who has been targeted by Al Ittihad. Mohamed Kudus is a player that Arsenal of course have history with. Before signing for West Ham in 2023, not only did Arsenal have interest, but they were trying to make a move happen. Some reports claim that Kudus is even waiting, but because of FFP, Arsenal could not make their move. In the same window, they also signed Kai Havertz and Declan Rice. With the likes of Eddie Nketiah taking too long to decide their futures, Arsenal missed out on a potential star. You then think about the future of Leandro Trossard. Despite scoring a whopping 17 goals last season, clutch goals off the bench that won Arsenal many points. At 29 years of age and the absence of Martin Odegaard when given more starts, we've seen some clear holes in Trossard's profile. A lack of burst out wide, alongside a nature to sometimes give the ball away. Go all the way back to September, and of course there was that Fabrizio Romano exclusive, that Saudi side Al Ittihad had made an offer of €35 million, trying to sign Leandro Trossard. Now that was after the transfer deadline day, so Arsenal had to reject it. But fast forward to the next 2 windows, January and the summer past that, when you look at 24-year-old Mohamed Kudus, a left winger able to play on the right hand side as well. Where last year's heat map showed that he thrived on the right, this year shows how versatile he is, thriving on the left as well. Scoring 2 goals and getting 0 assists isn't impressive, but what is his 3.5 dribbles per game at a 57% win rate. In fact, in terms of the entire league for successful dribbles per 90, Kudus is only behind Jeremy Doku. With West Ham struggling in the 14th and the quality of player that Kudus is, he deserves to be in European football, and that's what Arsenal could offer him straight away. But also in terms of that moment of magic profile, a player comfortable in terms of dribbling tight spaces, a potential solution against deep blocks, When you look at Man City and the arrival of Doku and Savinho in the past 2 windows, Pep is bringing back ball carriers into his side. Saka and Martinelli both can dribble, but it's an attribute that Mohamed Kudus is naturally better at, able to burst through a press in any sort of system. You look at that game against Newcastle when Arsenal's passing not working, having that ball carrying profile could have been perfect. But if we're going to talk about forwards, we're also going to have to talk about Mikel Arteta's system. With a clip after the game against Newcastle coming out, where Gabriel Martinelli tries to dribble past Tino Livramento in the 32nd minute, bursting past him only to get locked off. Despite receiving so much criticism, I actually want to focus on something else. First things first, look at how isolated Martinelli was. With 2 Newcastle players surrounding him, the closest Arsenal player was near 20 yards away. I get the Mikel Arteta system is all about occupying spaces, but regardless of his Kudus, Martinelli or Nico Williams, no player that you leave that isolated is ever going to thrive. But in terms of the title race, with Arsenal currently 7 points off the top, they will have to overturn the largest ever point gap after 10 games for any team that has won the title, with the highest ever point gap overturned being 6. I think this stat is actually very pointless, not only because we're so soon into the season, but it's the fact that teams have overturned an even bigger point gap later into the season. You think about City's first ever title win back in 11-12 over Man United. They were at 1 point 10 points behind going into the end of the season. That's why I'm not ruling Arsenal out of the title race, because looking into our opening 12 fixtures, including our next games against Chelsea away and Forest at home, we've already played all of the top 10, 3 games in which were 10 men, while only playing 3 of the bottom 5. City away, Spurs away, Villa away, alongside Newcastle and of course Stamford Bridge now, without the likes of Martin Odegaard and other key players missing. The run has not been easy when you compare that to Man City and Liverpool, who in comparison have had a lot easier runs. Still to go to the likes of Villa away and other sides like that. But in terms of Liverpool, as great as a side they may be, you think about the game against Brighton and how many big chances they conceded. They may have only conceded 6 goals all season, but watch any of their games closely and you'll definitely see a level of vulnerability. Not only that, but the league is also 10 times more competitive. Forest in 3rd, Chelsea back towards their best. I'm not saying that Arsenal are the favourites and to be confident at this stage, but to rule Arsenal out 10 games into it, with major games still to come, I personally think is a bit premature. That being said, I'll focus our turn to the Champions League. A trip to the San Siro and Inter Milan away, in Arsenal's 4th group game of the season. Inter and Arsenal are both on the same amount of points, with 2 wins and 1 draw from the opening 3 games. Under coach Inzaghi, they're currently 2nd in the Serie A, having won the Scudetto last season, in fantastic current form with 8 games unbeaten, 7 of those being victories. They are tactically a very good side, playing a back 3 and being so aggressive. For Mikel Arteta, this is going to be a real tactical battle. Treat it almost like a Big 6 game in the Premier League. I expect their approach to be pragmatic, something that's worked for Arsenal in their previous big game. These next 5 games are going to be pivotal, because after Inter you've got Chelsea away and Forest at home, following a Sporting away and West Ham away. No easy games around the corner and wins are necessary. I'd go as far as saying that game at Stamford Bridge could be potentially deciding for Arsenal and their title ambitions. But that's the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on his social medias, then all the links are down in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today. I had a massive game at the San Siro away against Inter Milan, and past that, of course, Chelsea. Edu Gaspero has gone, so much has happened, and as per my friends, I'll see you very soon. Take care of yourselves, and in a bit.